Hey Art Fam, it's Luis Martin, the art engineer, and I'm not in the studio. I'm actually somewhere in San Francisco in Mission Bay. I am taking a break. I already scheduled this trip a while ago, but I thought it'd be a really good moment to just take a break. So I'm not making art. I'm actually taking a second to kind of rest on my laurels, if you will. So I just completed the Arcana, and when you do something like that, it's kind of nice to just sit and be like, what did I just do? And also, I had a little incident that happened that I thought I'd share with you, because just like I like sharing all the self-help wonderful things, I guess it's important also to share all of the other things that come with it, right? So if you stay inspired, you'll always be inspired. And a lot of the times, this sense of inspiration, sense of wonder will come through in some dark times. I've learned to use this to my advantage all of my life, so it's done me well. I'm very satisfied with life and how art has played a key role in that. Recently, I was at an art show for a friend of mine who I gave a first show. I used to be curator. I used to have a gallery space, and part of the role in doing that, and part of my mission, was to promote artists who were different, artists who weren't necessarily playing the game the way the game is played. I wanted to be, and I am, very much a game changer. And so I gave this artist her first show. It was a huge production, loved it, it was amazing. We all had a great time. So this is her third solo show here in Brooklyn, or there in Brooklyn. And I went, and it was great. It was a family reunion, really. And then I got a text from my sister, and this text was a postcard, a little postcard. She was at my mother's storage with my mother, who's a bit of a hoarder, and they were cleaning and throwing things away. And a little bit of a backstory. Yes, my mother has 3 storages, and we've been trying to facilitate her cleaning that or getting rid of it. So I empathize a little bit, because I'm a bit of a hoarder, as you know. I only have 1 storage, and I'm a collage artist, so everything comes into play. Everything will come into play, which is what a hoarder would say. At any rate, so she was in California, in LA. She sent me this picture, and the picture was a postcard in this beautiful handwriting. Instantly recognized the handwriting. It's my aunt's handwriting. But then on the right of it, the signature was mine. A twerpy little 6-year-old signature that was mine. And I'm reading it, and I instantly know the time and place of this postcard. And I reach out to my sister. I reply, "Oh, that's great. Do you know where this is from?" And she replies with, "No, it doesn't have a date." And I tell her, "Oh, this is when Mom was in jail." My mother has had a very interesting life, and part of that was, a very brief part of that was spent in jail. But as you can imagine, having kids and going to jail has ramifications. So that was the point in my life that I had already, I hadn't swept under the rug, but I had processed, I had forgotten. But it came in a text, and it was like a little bomb, right? It was like, poof. And I was at a party, and I was like, okay, well, instantly my pop psychology woohoo was like, okay, how can I spin this so it doesn't destroy me, so it doesn't affect me in a negative way? It was a postcard that my aunt wrote in her handwriting for me, and it had these beautiful sentiments, thinking of you, praying for you, can't wait when you get home. And then I signed it, and I drew the tree and the star and the flower. I was then me too. And I thought, wow, how wonderful to have this person in my life then that softened that blow, right? That made that moment a little bit less scary. And like I said, I'm 43. I knew it happened, but you let it go. And as a magical person, as a witchy person, we burn things. And this is why we burn things. We let things go, so they dissolve, and the energy is dissipated. This wasn't burned, this was kept. And And it really messed me up a little bit, right? Because all of a sudden, there I was, this vulnerable little 6-year-old again. So I tried to spin it, and I called my aunt, and I said, what I wanted to tell her was, listen, because I call her often and thank her, because she was a very beautiful light in my life as a child, and I don't think I'd be here if it wasn't for her, along with some other beautiful people that really came through. And I told her, listen, I know I've already thanked you like 1,000,000 times, but I just want to hear me thanking the universe for you. And how I hope the universe and I know the universe has your back, because you're an angel, you're my angel, and good things happen to good people, was my intention. But as soon as I called her and I told her, listen, I know I've told you many times before, thank you. And then she stops me, she's like, are you gonna make me cry? And then I lost it, I kid you not. And I'm not embarrassed, I'm not ashamed to say that I completely fell apart, because I'm human and I know it happens. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because art saves the day for me, for us. Art and magic. And the reason I put those things together is because I've said this before, my art practice is my magic practice. It's my way of connecting with my higher self, and taking a moment to sit down and feeling absolutely gutted, absolutely powerless, can be scary. And one way I describe it to Elvis, my husband, is that feeling of being a vulnerable kid has stayed with me for a very long time. The feeling of being alone, the feeling of loneliness. And the only way I can compare it to is standing on the sand by the ocean and when you stand at the edge, if you stand long enough, the ocean takes you and you don't notice, and then you're already in the ocean, and that's it. That's the feeling that I've had. I don't have that often anymore. But that moment of reading that card, I was like, oh, I'm in the ocean and it's about to take me. Let me ground myself, and that's key, right? Ground yourself. And when I ground myself, I can hook on to all of the beautiful things that I've done. I'm not talking about accolades. I'm not talking about awards or anything like that. I'm talking about I made that painting. It made me happy, and it was a testament to who I am and what I do. The Arcana, I created that. I can hang on to that. I did that. Let me sit here and enjoy that, and not feel the need to heal, not need the need to make something more, not have the need to validate myself. No, in that moment of absolute emotional destruction, to feel okay, to feel nothing, to feel lost, and to find myself in the clues that I've left behind in my art, right? And that's it. And that's it. As an artist, as a magic person, that is what I want to do with my artwork for others, for myself. And all to say, things have a way of working out, right? I'm in San Fransisco now, which is where my mother was, and there's things happening all the time, and people don't change. Neither does my mother. So I'm here to kind of connect with her and remind her of who she is, which sounds funny, without being cryptic. So she has some kind of condition, and we're human, and when we are dealt with a prognosis, we let that prognosis take our identity, right? Oh, I am this now? Okay, I'm done. But if we are people like my mother and myself who have dedicated our lives to certain beliefs, certain ideas, we can't let these prognoses be the end of it. Accept it, accept the science, embrace the solution, and don't lose yourself in that, right? Easier said than done, but know who you are And that's what I kind of wanted to do. But guess what? The universe has a way of protecting everyone, including me. So, homegirl left. I came to San Francisco. She left to LA before I even got here. Which, again, you cannot save anybody, right? So I wanted to come and be like, hey, you're cool. Remember that. Save yourself. Let me help you. But the truth of the matter is that you can't help anyone that doesn't want to be helped, right? So the universe was like, no, kiddo. She's got it. You do you, right? And that can be painful because it's my mother. But at the same time, accept it. You have to accept the things you can't change, right? So I said, wow, so I get to spend a whole week in San Francisco, hang out with my nieces, and I'm not gonna make art. I'm not gonna push myself to make art. I'll probably, my hands are idle and they need to do things. But I thought, okay, I'm gonna rest on my laurels. And I know that sounds, I know we've been taught to not do that, but really, sometimes you have to rest, literally rest with a capital R, on your laurels and let yourself get to a place where you're okay. Listen, I am here to feed you all the woo that you need, but I'm not gonna lie to you. Things are tough, and that's why we do what we do, because for me it helps in everything that I do. So this is Luis Martin, the art engineer, being absolutely frank and absolutely human. And what we do matters, but it's not what gives us our identity, right? If I stop making art today, that's perfectly fine. So don't feel like you have to keep producing to earn your keep. No, we can stop right now and be okay. All right, so this is Luis Martin, the art engineer. I'm sending you tons of love, and I feel your love. And I really wanted to share this little postcard of my own, letting you know that we can make it through. All right, I'm on the other side. Cheers.